Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lauren Robertson coming to you with our webinar today, which is on the subject of dream interpretation. Let me just make sure that I've got all my screens correct here and that we're not going to be getting any annoying feedback or anything like this happening. There we are. I think we're good now. So I am thrilled to be speaking to you about this subject today, as dream interpretation is one of the subjects that I'm really most passionate about. So those of you who know me already will know me in the capacity of an intuitive practitioner. I've been a psychic medium since I was 16, and I've now moved into coaching and offering spiritual services for the purposes of other people being able to develop themselves and their own spirituality more. And dream interpretation has been part of my journey all throughout that experience. So what I'm going to talk to you about today, first of all, is a little bit about my journey and how I came to be doing this webinar for you today. And then I would love to talk to you about the 5 most common dreams that I always get asked about and what it is that they mean. And then I would love to open up the rest of the time for you. So if you've been having a really strange dream that's been bothering you, or you've been having a recurring dream and you finally want to chip away through the meaning and find out what this dream's all about, or there's a dream that you've been having that's just so vivid and it's stuck with you for all these years that you want to know what it's about, please do type them into the chat box. So directly underneath where you see me speaking, you will also see a chat box here. It's green, and if you sign in and then just type your messages in there, I will be very happy to pick them up. And very finally, we will discuss how it is that you and I can work together further if you're very interested in dream interpretation, because I do have a group teaching coaching program on the subject of dream interpretation coming up very soon this month. So if you're interested in being a part of that, I can certainly tell you how to go about that. So one story that I would love to share with you is something that happened to me when I was about 14 years old. And when I was 14, I was still really interested in spirituality and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. And as part of my interest in spirituality, I was very interested in Wicca and paganism. When I was a teenager, The Craft had just came out, that movie. So we were all like desperate to be those girls from that movie. So I had asked my mother to buy me this book about Wicca and witchcraft and how to do love spells and all this other stuff. And I had really nagged her and moaned her, please, could you please get me this book? And she'd finally caved in and bought me this book. And I sat this book about Wicca for teenagers on my bedside table, and it was sitting there for a long time, sort of gathering dust. I was at school and doing different things, so I didn't pick it up right away. But there was this one night in particular, where I went to bed and I went to sleep, and I had this unbelievably vivid dream. So I was running through a forest, a really, really dark sort of Tim Burton looking forest. And I was in bare feet and I was wearing this white dress, and my dress was all ripped and torn and shredded from being caught on the different branches and briars as I was running. And I felt really, really panicked and really, like I was running from something and running for my life. So as I was running, I turned around and looked behind to see what it was I was running from. And as I looked behind, I was confronted by this huge werewolf galloping towards me with its claws like this and big sharp teeth and salivating, and I was absolutely terrified. So I was running and running, and I could feel that this werewolf was gaining on me. It was getting closer and closer, and then I realized that running away wasn't going to work. And then suddenly I sort of realized that I was dreaming, and I stopped running and I looked down at my hand, and as you do in dreams, things just appear and disappear. So I looked down at my hand and I was holding this baseball bat, a huge baseball bat. So I grabbed the baseball bat with 2 hands, and as the werewolf went to lunge at me, I whacked it really hard with this baseball bat. And as I whacked it, a little bit of pink jelly flew off of it. And it was really stunned for a second. And I realized if I hit this werewolf again, more pink jelly is going to fly off of it, and it's going to become soon just a blob of pink jelly. So I turned around and I hit it, and I love animals, by the way, so I wouldn't condone violence to any animal, including a werewolf, but dreams are weird. So I was whacking this werewolf, and all this pink jelly was flying off of it, until finally it was literally just a pile of pink jelly lying on the ground. And then I woke up. And I woke up, it was morning, and I was like, that was so weird. It was one of those nights where I felt like I hadn't slept at all because my dreams had been so active. So I got up out of bed, and as I got out of bed, my duvet knocked this book about Wicca and paganism onto the floor. And the way it fell, the book fell sort of spine up like this, so the pages were open. And I picked up this book, and as I picked it up, I just glanced at the page that it had broken open at. And the page it had broken open at, the very first line of the book was, "Beware of people in your life who are jellyfish acting as werewolves." No joke. So that was me. I was like, dreams are weird. Like, there's something going on in dreams that is tapping into some very special vibration or something that I'm sure can be useful to us in this life. So that was really how my journey to dream interpretation began. And my stepdad got me a beautiful journal and a fluffy pen for me to write all my dreams down, and I was absolutely hooked. You know, as my journey to angel cards and mediumship and coaching and other things has emerged, my interest in dream interpretation has never waned. It has always stayed extremely vivid, because the more I learn about dreams and the more I hear about other people's dreams, the more I feel they have to reveal to us. So I know that some of you who are listening right now will have had dreams that have predicted the future. You will have dreams that have taken profound effect on you and had, you know, a really deep effect on you as a person. You will have had dreams that you think are to do with past lives that you've been through. You will have had dreams that have terrified you, uplifted you, that have given you the answers to problems, that have made you laugh, that have comforted you. You know, you will have had all sorts of different dreams. And I hope to share with you today some of the ones that you've probably had that I have heard the most over the years that are very, very meaningful. So hopefully by talking about them today, everyone can get like a little dream reading or a dream interpretation before we move on to those of you who have specifically written questions in the chat box below. So just before we get on to talking about those dreams properly, I just want to sort of explain to you where we're at in terms of study and research to do with dreams. So dreams are really mysterious. And as I mentioned to those of you who listened to the radio show on Tuesday, there is quite a lot of science to do with dreams, but there is also a healthy dose of woo-woo that's connected to dreams as well. And those are my favourite things. Anything that's a bit of science and also a bit mysterious, I can't help it. I'm just drawn to it like a magpie. So dreaming certainly is one of those things in my book. And the reason for that is that dreaming is correlated with REM, which is rapid eye movement. So we know that dreaming, and particularly the dreams that you remember, are correlated with the very deepest levels of sleep. And you go through several of these REM cycles per night, just depending on how good a quality sleep you're getting. And, you know, as I said, this element of sleep, this REM cycle, is where you will tend to have the dreams that are the most vivid. And dreams can last from a few seconds up to 20 minutes. I'm not really sure how they have found that research out. I think that it's actually just been the person who's had the dream has told them how long they felt it was. But another thing that's mysterious about dreams is that time gets absolutely bent out of shape. So a dream that can seem to last 5 minutes may have lasted a few seconds or up to an hour. I just don't know how we could ever know for sure. But again, they probably, you know, hook the sleepers up to ECGs and MRIs and different monitors that's going to look at their body and their physiology and their brain and look at the correlation between the brain waves that are occurring and whatever dreams they're having. So there's still, like I said, a lot of mystery around why it is we dream. So some people believe or have theorized that the reason that we dream is because we are preparing ourselves for danger. So a lot of us have quite negative dreams, and it's thought that we've evolved this ability to have a mental practice run in terms of looking out for danger. So for example, quite a lot of the time we dream about falling or dream about being in some sort of harm or danger, you know, or something really terrible happening, because it's as if our brains are preparing us for what may happen in the future. So that's a sort of evolutionary reading of why we dream. Some people also believe that dreams are epiphenomenal, and what that means is that they are actually just the pointless cousin of waking thought. So we dream because we are beings who are sentient and have conceptual thoughts and an ability to think visually. So when we go to sleep and we dream, we are basically just replaying that or using that faculty, but with other faculties of our brain that are shut down because we're asleep, so it doesn't make as much sense. So we're still having sort of visual or imaginative experiences, but they're not ordered or rational because we're sleeping. Some theories also suggest that dreams are a way of your brain sorting out what to keep and what to reject. So are the connections that you're making between objects, between feelings, between, you know, experiences that you've had in life, are they relevant, are they helpful, or are they not? And, you know, again, that's another theory that's out there, and there are plenty more. And if you're interested more in the theory of why it is that we dream, please do let me know in an email and I can send you some information. Some of you may know that I graduated from university this year, and I studied consciousness and metaphysics and philosophy of emotions. So I'm very interested in dreams, and I can certainly point you towards some reading material that you may find interesting as well. Okay, so let's talk about some of the most common dreams and what they mean. Now, what's really interesting is that there doesn't seem to be a huge cultural determinism when it comes to dreams. So somebody who's in China or Africa or the UK or America or anywhere in the world will tend to have the same sorts of dreams, and the same sorts of themes will come up. So again, no matter where I've been talking about dream interpretation, it seems to be that the same sorts of dreams and the same sorts of experiences arise. So hopefully you will recognise yourself in some of the experiences that we're going to talk about now. So the first three dreams that I'm going to speak about now all mean the same thing. So they're all variations on the one theme. So we'll talk about them as a unit. So you may have experienced dreaming about about running, and yet you feel that as you're running you can't go fast enough, or that you're running really slowly, or it feels like you're running through treacle or mud. You may also have had the dream that you're trying to call or shout for help, but your voice won't come out, or people are ignoring you, or they're deaf and can't hear you. Or you may dream that you are trying to punch or kick your way out of trouble, but you can't get any force behind your strikes. You're the crazy ones. No, I'm only kidding. So these three dreams all mean the same thing. So what they have in common is that in the dream, you're not in control. Okay, so you can't run away from trouble, you can shout for help if you're in trouble, and you can fight your way out of trouble. So these are all dreams about not really being at peace with how much or how little we're in control of our lives, okay? So people who tend to have this sort of dream find it very difficult to leave anything up to fate or up to chance, or, you know, to really let go of the steering wheel of life. You know, having this sort of dream tends to be people who need to feel like they're in control. And of course, the problem is that when we think we're in control of life, really it just so happens that we've been very good at guessing what's going to happen and sort of asserting our will on it enough to feel that we're in control, when actually life quite often throws us surprises and curveballs. And sometimes we realise that we're actually just riding the crest of life and we're not in control of it at all. And people who have this sort of dream about not being in control find that very, very difficult. You know, if life throws them a curveball, like they lose their job, or somebody passes away, or even that a day just doesn't turn out the way that they thought it would, it's very, very difficult for them to be okay with that and to be comfortable with it. And if you recognise yourself as being like that, then your dream is reflecting a need for you to find a way to be okay with some things in life not being up to you. And this is a very complicated dream psychologically, because quite often people who have the sort of dream of not being in control have either felt that they had to be in control from very early on in life. So perhaps your parents didn't give you a lot of encouragement or a lot of support, so you had to be very much in control of your own feelings or in control of what was going on with you, and providing for yourself emotionally and possibly physically. This is also about, a person who in their life, perhaps their children or their partner or their colleagues, put a lot of pressure on them to do the right thing, or to, make life be perfect, or to always solve the problems, when actually you don't want to be under that sort of pressure and it's not actually suiting you. So again, you can dream about really not being in control because of that. And there also seems to be a correlation between dreams of not being in control and sleep disturbances. So people who have this dream about not being able to fight their way out of trouble, or shout for help, or run away from trouble, tend to not sleep very well at all, and maybe struggle to sleep a whole night through. There is also a correlation between this type of dream and certain phobias. Okay, so obviously this very highly developed need to be in control, or perception that being in control is the right state to be in, can also be correlated with, extreme fear. So having a phobia is like a feeling of not being in control in the presence of something that's causing you fear. So again, there's a correlation there. So if you're having this dream a lot, or it's really sticking out as being quite true for you, you need to look at what areas of your life you could reduce this issue of control. So where in your life could you delegate? Where in your life could you say no? Where in your life could you, work with the past, or work with what you've been through, and recognize it as being something that's shaped you, but at the same time a behaviour that you don't need to carry on with any longer? These are the sort of questions that arise from this dream of being in control, not being in control. Okay, so you may sometimes have had a dream about your teeth falling out. Dreaming about your teeth falling out is one of the most common dreams, and I have had it personally so many times. Sometimes you might dream about your teeth crumbling to dust. Sometimes you might dream about them just sort of being wobbly and falling out. Sometimes you might dream about having false teeth, or being in some situation where your teeth are damaged. But dreaming about your teeth falling out is a very, very common dream. And there is two meanings that is predominant when it comes to this dream. Number one, which is the most obvious meaning, is that dreaming about your teeth falling out is very much to do with your ability to communicate in life. So the question is raised, where in life do you feel that you're not being heard? Where in life do you not feel that you're being understood? Where in life do you feel that a person's, just not listening to you, or not hearing what you're saying? Or where in your life do you feel unable to make a true expression of yourself? If you vividly and consistently dream about your teeth falling out, that is one thing that you need to address. And the second meaning is sort of correlated with that, and it's to do with unfulfilled ambition. So people who dream about their teeth falling out actually have like a lot of talent, or a lot of, interest in life. They want to learn, they want to experience new things, they want to go new places, but they always say one day, or when I have the money, or if I feel like it, or if I felt more confident, or if this happens or that happens, then I'll do whatever makes me happy. But this dream about your teeth falling out suggests, as I said, about living your truth or expressing your truth clearly, also suggests that you're not expressing your full life purpose clearly enough. So if you dream about your teeth falling out, think about where in your life you have a really strong purpose that you want to fulfill, and where you've been making excuses as to why you shouldn't do it or can't do it, because your dream is telling you that it's time. Okay, not to sort of grit your teeth and avoid doing the thing that's going to make you happy, but to take a deep breath and to do it anyway, even if it feels a little bit scary, or even if there's a lot at stake. Okay, so another dream that is very common, in fact, I'm not really sure if this one is a dream as such, it's really more like a sleep experience that we have. So you might sometimes find that you fall asleep and you're sort of dozing, and you've just fallen asleep and you're just under, And as you do that, you suddenly go and you wake up with a sort of startle and you give yourself a bit of a fright. And again, this is very common. And this is a very primitive version of our sixth sense. So of course, when we were cavemen or cave women and we, had real physical dangers around us, danger of predators and, dangerous animals and other tribes, we didn't really have any physical armor or physical sort of natural weapons to protect us. And what I mean by that is we never had the sharpest claws, we didn't have any natural venom, we didn't have any, exoskeleton to help us be protected. We only had our brains, all right? So our overdeveloped minds were the way that we protected ourselves. So this sense of falling asleep and then waking up with a fright is a very, very old defense mechanism, whereby if you were asleep and you could somehow perceive a danger nearby, you would experience a rush of adrenaline in your system and you would wake up with a fright, ready to engage with your fight or flight reflex. So for this reason, this experience of, waking up and giving yourself a fright is quite often correlated with the feeling of falling. Because in your dream, the feeling of falling, like free falling through the air, causes the adrenaline to be released in your brain, because your brain reacts as if it's really happening, which then causes you to wake up with a start and ready to flee or to fight. So that's why you'll find that tends to happen if you fall asleep in front of the TV and there's a loud noise, because even though you're not consciously aware of the loud noise, it's still going into your brain and your brain still understands it as a possible threat. So our brains are actually super smart and super clever. And, that's one of those, like I say, evolutionary sort of overhangs that we still have now, even although we have locks in our doors. So clever brain. You will find as well that if you're a very light sleeper, you will have that experience more often. There is a distinct correlation with those as well. So a similar dream to do with being lifted off the ground is that many of you will dream about flying. So some of you may dream about flying, that you're just soaring through the air and it's very easy to fly. But some of you may also dream about flying and it's as if you've got to sort of swim up through the air or get some elevation, or you sort of have the sense that something keeps pulling you or dragging you back down. Well, both of these dreams to do with flying is to do with your emotional and spiritual growth. Okay, so if you dream about flying, you are definitely somebody who has very keen intuition. You're definitely someone who's very empathic and very perceptive of other people. You're definitely somebody who is super sensitive to changes in your environment, to changes in your diet, to changes in your family situation. These things really affect you quite deeply. And you're somebody who has the sort of skills that we call psychic skills, intuitive skills, mediumship, healing, anything where you can be sort of a transmitter of energy or a transmitter of knowledge or information. There is a definite correlation between dreams about flying and this sort of capability. And, what it also definitely correlates as well is compassion. Okay, so people who dream about flying are very, very compassionate people. And, definitely having an intuitive ability, and an intuitive ability that's really spot on and accurate. Compassion is a vital ingredient for that, because you really have to care about other people and want to understand others and want to be of service to others in order to really develop your intuitive abilities. So dreaming about flying, a compassionate personality, and really, keenly developed intuitive senses definitely all go together. So if in your flying dream there's anything holding you down or holding you back, again, you have to literally look at what that is in your life that's doing that. So what is it in your life that's stopping you from being as fully engaged with your spirituality as you would like to be? Is it things about the ego? Is it about the past? Is it about doing a job that you hate? Is it about eating the wrong sort of food? Is it about, unforgiveness and not forgiving the past? If there's anything in your dreams about flying that's dragging you down, you literally have to look at what is it that's stopping your soul from ascending to its highest possible state of joy, literally in your life. And when you address those things, you will find that the dream has helped you to really ascend to that place that you actually want to be emotionally and spiritually. Okay, so One aspect of dream interpretation that really interests me a great deal, that I've studied quite a lot, is about the reason why we dream about our loved ones who've passed away. So again, some of you will know that I have been a medium for a lot of years, as I mentioned, and my journey to mediumship really started with a dream about one of my loved ones who's in spirit now. So my grandmother passed away when I was 17, and she and I were very close. And a few weeks after she passed away, I had this unbelievable dream about her that was so vivid and felt so real. And my grandmother had breast cancer, and she was horribly ill towards the end of her life. She had refused all treatment. You know, she didn't ever get chemotherapy or anything like that. She really just suffered and struggled through it because I think she was a little bit embarrassed of her condition. And so obviously, before she passed away, she was very, very poorly, and she had faded away to almost nothing physically, and, you know, was a very, very sickly lady. And when she passed away and I had this dream about her, I dreamt that I was in her home, but in the dream I knew that she had died, and I knew that I was dreaming. But I was in her living room where I had spent so many happy memories as a child, and the sun was streaming in through the window. And I always remember this very distinctive noise coming from my grandmother's kitchen, which was her preparing big mugs of very sweet tea for us, and biscuits and cakes and different things. And I'd always remember the sound of the cups clattering against this metal tray that she always used. And in the dream, I was sitting in her living room, and I could hear that noise coming from the kitchen. And I thought to myself in the dream, what is going on here? My grand's passed away. She shouldn't be here. And I heard her, and I saw the living room door swing open, and she had that tray of tea and cake that she always had. And as she walked in the room, she looked so beautiful and radiant and young and amazing and just so healthy and full of vitality. And she placed the tray down on the coffee table as she always had, and she stood in front of me and she said, stand up and give me a hug. And I always remember my gran used to squeeze me so tightly in a hug, like she never wanted to let go. And those are some of the moments that I always felt the most loved as a child and as a teenager. And she said, stand up till I give you a hug. And me being an obstinate teenager, I said, but Gran, how do I know it's really you? Isn't this just a dream? And she said, watch and I'll show you. And my grandmother was about 5'2", and I am sort of 5'8" and a little bit. And in the dream, she put her hands on my waist and she lifted me off the ground effortlessly as if I weighed nothing. And I realized that this was an experience where my dream had created some sort of bridge where I was having communion with my gran's spirit, with her soul, with her energy. And I said to her, I was like, how do I know that this is right, that this is real? And she said, Lauren, many, many more people have met their loved ones who are passed on now in a dream. And it's not a dream, it is a bridge. You know, it's a space where we can all be together. And there was something that just rang so, so true about what she said and what she told me. And the love and the comfort that I felt genuinely had a tangible and real effect on my life. So, you know, regardless of what we think of the dream itself as being real, the effect that it had on me was certainly very tangible and certainly very real, and it definitely allowed me to heal from the loss of that woman who had just been so precious to me in my life and who I know looks after me still. So I came to do a bit of research across time of, you know, the relationship between dreaming and mediumship, and I have affectionately called it dreamiumship. So it's a way in which we are all our own mediums, because we can all connect with our loved ones in spirit through our dreams. And what I find really interesting is that when we are doing mediumship or receiving a mediumistic message, or when we're engaged in giving or receiving a healing, or giving and receiving any sort of compassion or tenderness to each other, we go into what is called the alpha state, where we begin to produce alpha brainwaves in our brains and our minds. We switch from being alert, rushing about, beta state, to going into this slightly altered state of relaxed alertness. And what's really interesting is that in the deepest levels of REM sleep, we also produce alpha brainwaves, and it's completely unknown why this happens. Because what use do we have of a state of relaxed alertness when we're fast asleep? So the fact that there is that correlation between the brain waves that are produced when we're doing mediumship and the brain waves that are produced when we're in the deepest levels of sleep, you know, if like me, you love to speculate about wild theories and the mysteries of the universe, you might see that correlation being quite significant, that perhaps when we go to sleep and, you know, our cynical and skeptical and stressed out mind is quiet, we actually do somehow attune or retune to other elements of the universe, you know, other dimensions or other energies or other ways of being that are out there that are not available to us in our waking life. And something tells me that alpha brainwaves and love have a lot to do with it. So there you are, I'll leave that theory with you. But if you've ever had a dream about a loved one in spirit, you know, just know that that is something very special and something for you to cherish and, you know, really keep with you and keep in your heart. And if, like me, you do like to have evidence that something is real and, you know, isn't just your imagination, you can certainly ask your loved ones in your dream, you know, tell me something, give me something that is going to happen in the future or that's going to be significant, to know that it's really you. So I know I'm not just imagining this from my own mind. And, you know, you will tend to find that you do get some sort of sign or feeling or some sort of impression that your loved one in spirit will give you. And if you're really interested in meeting your loved ones in spirit in your dreams, or, you know, really encouraging a certain sort of dream to happen, for example, if you would like a problem to be solved in a dream, my advice for you would be to think about it last thing at night. So, you know, put the iPad down, put the laptop away. You know, the blue light that comes from laptops and iPads and phones has been shown to actually disturb your sleep cycles. So if you're not sleeping or dreaming as well, that could be partly why. So put all that stuff away. And very last thing at night, you know, just put all the lights out, make the room as dark as possible. And as you breathe and prepare yourself to go to sleep, just visualize what it is that you would like your dream to help you with. Do you want to meet your loved ones in spirit? Do you want the answer to a problem? Do you want to wake up feeling a different way than when you went to sleep? You know, you are the executor of your own dreams, okay? You are the dreamer and the subject and the object and the person who's going to benefit from those dreams. So if you engage with them in that way, it can be really life-changing, as it has been for me on several occasions. Okie dokie. So I hope that you have found this information helpful. So what I would love to do now is to take your questions. So I'm just having a look at the question box now, and I see that we have a question here. So Manda has written in, "Hi Lauren, why do I dream that I know royalty?" That's a very good question. So dreams about knowing royalty, so the royal family, or, you know, it actually doesn't matter really if it's a living person or if it's, you know, just a royal person in your dream. This is very much to do with celebration and good fortune. So dreaming about royalty is really your inner self that knows that you're special. Okay, so again, if you have an element of your life that you really want to happen, or a vision or a desire that you really want to come to pass, but you find that you have suffered from self-doubt, or you've suffered from, you know, lack of self-esteem, or you've found in the past that others have brought you down and discouraged you from having those sorts of dreams and those sorts of ambitions, you will tend to dream about royalty as a way to let you know that you are special, you know, placing that crown in your head and you being the queen of your own life. Okay, that's what I'd like to say to you, is, you know, about being the queen of your own life, and how your dream is trying to say to you that you are fit to mingle with royalty. Okay, you are fit to mingle with those who you perceive to be greater than you or to have greater status than you. But in order to do so, you have to internalize that worth yourself. Okay, so you have to internalize that feeling of being royal and being valuable and being somebody who's regal and special within yourself, because you absolutely are. This is also about who you look up to. So a good way for you to emulate certain behavior that you would like to have in your own life, or to achieve certain things that you would like to have in your own life, is to associate with those who already have it. Okay, so they say that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Okay, so who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Who are you associating with? And are they aspirational to you? So do you see the people that you associate with as being people that you admire and that you would love to have what they have or experience what they've got, or to have the sort of happiness or abundance or whatever it is that you admire about them? Dreaming about royalty suggests that being around people who you feel that way about is a really good way to sort of bring yourself forward and move yourself up into the next sphere of who it is that you want to be. And remember to just keep that queen feeling and that queen outlook as being really front and center of how you go about your decisions. So if you are doing something in life, anything at all, you're making any choice, put your hand on your heart and take a deep breath and ask, is this what a queen would do? Is this what a woman who's the queen of her own life would do? Is this what a woman who loves herself would do? And let that guide you, because your subconscious is telling you that you already know the answer as to how to step into your greatness and step into your own power, but you actually just now need to let your conscious mind think in that different way and make those different choices. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you, Amanda. Thanks so much for your question. Please excuse me while I take a little sip of water here. I've been practicing for a karaoke party that I'm going to in a couple of days' time. I've been practicing my Seal Kiss from a Rose. That's my party piece. And I've given myself a hoarse throat, so I do apologise. Okay, so another listener has written in. I had a beautiful dream 2 nights ago. I was warm and sleepy and in bed with my husband, John. When I opened my eyes, I saw that our bed was in the garden. The sun was shining, the sky was blue, and floating through the air was lots of Chinese paper cranes in all colours. The cranes then turned into paper boats and sailed over our house. I was extremely content and thought to myself, how lovely, the children must have released them. I don't have any children, and the feeling was definitely one that the children in my dream belonged to a Sunday school or nursery group nearby. Wow, okay. What an interesting dream. Thank you so much for writing that in, and please do keep them coming. Continue to write your dreams in the chat box as we're going along here. Okay, Anon8242. So this is a really beautiful dream, and what this dream is about, although it definitely is about the relationship between yourself and your husband, and you know how it is you are as a couple, and a greater sense of peace being in your relationship, which may of course indicate that in the past there has been some sense of you having to really work hard as a couple, or you know, really persevere as a couple, or really get through things that have been quite difficult. This dream is all about things becoming easier and your subconscious mind trying to notify you or give you that sense of comfort that whatever's been difficult or challenging in the past is now in the past. So this is a time where both of you can relax. So that meaning is quite literal. There is, however, another more complicated meaning that's related to this dream. So you and your husband in the dream represent the 2 sides of your personality, the masculine and the feminine. And what it represents is that you actually have a purpose here in life that's going to require you to use all aspects of your personality. And what this is usually to do with is entrepreneurship. So my question for you would be, do you have a business idea? Are you somebody who would like to work for yourself? Would you love to have a creative business where you are your own boss and you could, you know, suit yourself and bring something really beautiful into the world and earn money by doing that? The reason I say that is because your husband actually represents financial security and the sense of being a hunter-gatherer, and you in the dream is your feminine and more creative side. So both of you being in bed together and being in the garden, of course, gardens are about abundance and making things grow. So, you know, making your finances grow, making your life just really full of abundance and really full of joy and happiness. So that's what that represents. And then dreaming about children is about nurturing an idea. Okay, so dreaming about pregnancy, dreaming about young children or the thought of young children being around you is about gestating, you know, like being pregnant with an idea or being pregnant with something that you really want to bring into life. So I would really start thinking about, you know, where in my life could I be more fulfilled? And is that to do with making more money? Like, how could this talent or this ability that I have be brought to people in a way that really benefits them, while at the same time allowing me to express myself, while at the same time allowing me to earn some extra money doing it. Okay, so this is a really strong dream about this new phase or this new period in your life coming to pass, whereby you will, be bringing something wonderful into life that will earn you some money. So it's a very positive dream all round. So I would say as well that you're definitely very intuitive and very sensitive. Dreaming about children and being in, gardens and things floating through the air and this sort of otherworldly sense, again, is definitely about you being a very sensitive and very intuitive person. You're very good at reading people and, getting a real strong sense of what a person's like, or reading between the lines of what people say. And that can be something that's really useful to you in life. So if you have the courage to say, if you feel a certain way about a person, if you have the courage to say, what did you mean when you said such and such? Or are you okay today? I get a feeling that you're not, your happiest. Or what is it that you really are here for today? Like, how is it I can really help you? You have the ability to really connect with people on a very deep level because of this sensitivity that you have, and definitely that connection with people may be to do with this sense of being self-employed or doing some fabulous business coming into the future. But I mean, really, that is a very special dream. So thank you for sharing that with me. Okay, so do we have any other dreams that you would like to share? I can see there's a few of you listening here, so go ahead and type your dream into the box if you would like to share that with me. Otherwise, I'm going to go on and talk about, oh, here we are, here's another one. Okay, so this lovely person has written in, hi, I have a recurring dream of going from room to room, usually either a ship or a very large house, and often scary things in the room. I can't find what I'm looking for. I'm scared and I can't get out. Thanks. Okay, so thank you for sharing this dream with me. So what this dream is all about is a sense of responsibility, okay? So you looking around the rooms and searching for things that you can't find, and, things that are scary being in the rooms and it often being dark and frightening. This is a dream about, like I say, feeling responsible. So what your dream is asking you to do is release yourself from having to please people. Okay, so where is it in your life that you feel overly responsible for other people's happiness? Where is it in life that you've taken on way too much of, other people's happiness or what other people need onto your own shoulders? Where is it in life you have consistently put other people before yourself, but not in a good, happy, comfortable way, in a way that's meant that you have gone without, or that you have compromised on what you actually know to be right, or compromised on what you need for yourself? Dreams like this, and obviously I can't give you like a full sort of reading without speaking to you, and I really hope you don't think I'm being too personal when I say this, but this sort of dream tends to be an inherited behaviour from a member of your family, usually your mother. So, did your mother, when she was younger, be somebody who always tried to please other people and just sort of put up with her situation or got on with what she perceived to be her responsibilities without sort of stopping and asking if she was really happy, or, if there was more that could be there for her? If so, you may have found that you have inherited this desire to really want to, please people and make people happy, but where sometimes you've done it through gritted teeth, where you've realised, what I'm actually doing here and running about like a headless chicken, like you say in your dreams, searching from room to room, trying to sort of find the answer, trying to alleviate whatever problems are going on. Has that ever made you happy? So your dream is asking you to just stop and really think about, how is it that I can say no in my life? How is it that I can say, this isn't working for me right now? Where is it in my life that I can stop searching for something else, something better, something outside of myself, and actually just think, what would make me content right now? And what do I need to do to put myself in that situation? Because of the sort of nature that you have, you would be wonderful at fostering children or adopting children or doing something where you really be of service to other people in a very structured way, like to do with your job or your career. So like social work, midwifery, anything where you get to be of service to people who are vulnerable. Because what your dream is also about is these different places that you're searching are the different compartments of your heart. So there's lots and lots of room in your heart for love. Okay, there's lots and lots of room in your heart to take care of people and be there for people and to really change their life in a positive way. But what the dream is asking you to do is not forget to count yourself amongst the people that need your love, okay? So although you are so strongly able to be of service to other people, it mustn't go too far. You know, you've got to count yourself amongst the people who need your love as well. Okay, I hope that's helpful for you. Okay. Okay. So you've also written as an ex-husband the same financial security. Okay, so exes are, you know, are slightly different. So yes, the whole husband thing is also about financial security. So if you dream about males in your life, it's always about the hunter-gatherer, even if it's a little boy or your granddad or your ex-husband. This is all about issues of financial security, job security, security at home, you know, all of your practical needs being met. However, when we dream about our exes, this is actually really positive because it shows that you have put your ex in a safe enough zone in your mind for him to be available to your subconscious, to teach you a lesson. So for example, if you're still undergoing a lot of pain about your ex-husband or a lot of difficulties with that, you will tend not to dream about him at all because he's not a safe enough symbol to bring into your dreams to teach you anything. The fact that you have dreamt about him shows that you have truly learned what you need to learn from this relationship and truly moved forward from it and moved on from it, which I suppose is a really good thing. Okay, so another person has written in, hi Lauren, I had a really creepy dream that was about this reptilian lady, sorry, that was first partially human and reptilian, that you could see her scales on her tongue, and then all of a sudden the witch that was there changed her into a human on the surface, but in her eyes that were deep black, you could see she wasn't just human. The witch then gave her a bloody heart and she zipped up a black bodysuit and you could only see her mouth and a kissing face, and the witch said, we will be back after you hear a high-pitched noise. We then went upstairs and after a while of other things happening, I heard the noise that was a high-pitched ringing. And we went all downstairs, but before we went into the room, I slowly woke up and couldn't tell my dream state to reality. It was so vivid, thank you. Wow, crazy. Okay, so I love these sorts of dreams that have so many different elements going on to them. So thank you so much for sharing that dream. If I was to use one word to describe what your dream is about, it's about trust. Okay, so this is a dream about finding it difficult to trust people, or you may look back and see where, you know, somebody has betrayed your trust in the past. And again, without digging too deep into your personal life, usually this goes back to your childhood. So this is a dream that's asking you to look at who was the first person that I ever felt betrayed me or that I couldn't trust. Or, you know, who was the first person or what was the first situation where I didn't feel like I could fully be myself, you know, that I couldn't trust the people around me or trust the situation to allow me to fully be myself. This dream tells me that you are like alternative in some way. So you might have quite alternative views, you might dress alternatively, or you might have interests that are not mainstream. And so this dream is about feeling misunderstood. You know, like I say, about not being able to trust or fully trust your own heart with people. And so feeling that you, you know, need to hide something of yourself or not really be fully yourself. So my question that I would want to raise for you is, what can you do now in your life to fully honour yourself? So what could you do differently in your life to fully honour who you are as a person? You know, what is it that you could talk about or say or bring up in conversation or do for yourself that would demonstrate that you fully love and accept yourself? All right, because all these witches and scales and reptiles and different things in your dream, this is all about trust and all about feeling that you know, things weren't as they seemed, or people weren't as they seemed. And, you know, this is quite a shocking sort of trust issue that's come up in your dream. So this isn't just realizing that folk are a bit dodgy or suspicious. This is about a person doing something where there's been like a really sudden betrayal involved, or a really shocking betrayal involved. Okay, so I'm sending you lots of love to heal that. But what you do really to heal that is you say, how can I fully step into being myself now in my life? You know, how can I show myself that I fully trust, that I fully care for myself, that I can be strong enough to trust in relationships, that I can be strong enough to trust in friendships, that I can be strong enough to trust, you know, that when people say what they say, that I either trust it, or if they're lying or whatever, it actually doesn't matter that much, because I'm strong enough to get through it. So these are the sorts of issues that are coming up with this dream, and I really hope that makes sense to you. Very finally, I'd like to say that you also have a repressed intuitive ability. Okay, so get on with that psychic work, get on with those meditations, get on with reading about intuitive stuff, you know, whatever it is that you've been thinking, I'm really interested in that, but I'm scared, you know, to dip my toe in the water. This dream is certainly about, you know, you progressing with that further. And again, as you get to know your spiritual self more, that is a way of getting to love and trust yourself more. And when you feel really resilient and really good about yourself, and really like, you know, strong, like whatever happens, I can bounce back, the things that other people do along their journey to learning about themselves more don't matter so much. Okay, so that fear of not being able to trust gets massively diminished. So I really hope that makes sense to you. And thanks so much for sending your dream in. Okay. I once shared a dream with a friend. It was really spooky. The dream was exact in every way, but I saved her from a bad person and she saved me. We freaked out. How is this possible? Is it the same as the spiritual bridge? Excellent question. So I have my own wild theories about this, one of which is that consciousness is a four-dimensional space that is infinite. Okay, so space-time and everything in it, including all thoughts that have ever been and all thoughts that ever will be, all, you know, happenings that have ever been or will ever be, are all going on at the one time in a nebulous sort of fashion. And that, you know, there are ways that we can tap into the same or similar areas of this four-dimensional nebulous space-time. So when, for example, I'm doing a psychic reading for somebody, what's actually happening is I'm coming away from my consciousness, you know, from Lauren's consciousness, and making my consciousness apparatus, so my mind, my spirit, my energy, available for the other person's consciousness to make an imprint on me. And when you have a dream where you share a dream with another person, that is something that I think is going on there as well. So what's actually happening is there is something so resonant or so strong about what each of you share, possibly because you're friends. You know, it happens a lot with twins and really close love relationships as well. You know, because you have such a strong resonance and the issues that you are worried about are the same, the things that make you happy are the same, you know, the patina of time that sort of buffed you both together over time is so strong and so old that you can actually go to the same bit of space-time or the same bit of this nebulous consciousness. And that's how that can happen. It's happened to me a couple of times with my best friend as well. And what we think of this as is a version of remote viewing. Okay, so if you're interested in it, Google remote viewing and look up that. It's really, really interesting. So it's basically being able to visit another area of space-time imaginatively, but actually be able to talk about things that are real and veridical about that actual experience. And it seems to be a similar sort of capacity that allows you to do that in your dreams. You know, caused or inspired or facilitated by the loving connection you have with somebody. So I hope that's answered your question. Okay, so we're going to do one or two more dream interpretations in just a second, but I just want to let you know that you can work with me further in terms of this dream interpretation work. So if you would love to know how to have better relationships through understanding your dreams, if you would love to know your life purpose through understanding your dreams, and if you would generally just like to have a better quality of life, you know, greater fulfillment, greater understanding of yourself, greater acceptance of yourself, then this is something that we can certainly do through dream interpretation. And I'm going to be teaching a 5-week The Art of Dream Interpretation online seminar, which I would love you to be a part of. And it starts on Wednesday, the 23rd of September. At 7 p.m. UK time, and it will be a really private, intimate group of people who wish to develop themselves through understanding their group better. Understanding their dreams better. And we have a few signed up to the group already, and like I said, there's limited spaces. I think I'm only going to take on 10 students, so if you would like to be a part of it, please do sign up today. So what I'm looking for, if you are interested in signing up, is 3 sorts of people, okay? So if you, as I said, want to understand yourself better through working with your dreams, and you would like to experience these really amazing improvements in your quality of life through doing that, I would love to have you on the course. If you are an intuitive practitioner who would love to learn dream interpretation so that you can offer that as a service, I would love to have you on the course as well, because you will be very competent at interpreting dreams for yourself and others by the end of the 5 weeks. And if you are a coach who would love to use dream interpretation as a way to understand your own clients better and as a way to raise conversations around your own clients, I would love to invite you on the course as well, because what we're going to do is going to be suitable for you types of people, for those 3 types of people. So we're going to be doing lots of stuff, from how to interpret symbols in dreams, you know, how to understand different types of dreams which are recurring. We're going to talk a little bit about why we have certain dreams that are really traumatic and really difficult. And we're going to learn how to use a dream diary or a dream journal to really help us change our lives. And we're going to learn how to ask the right questions as a result of the dreams that we have. So you might notice that some of the interpretations I've done today, I've said after it, the question I would raise for you is this, okay? And that's really where the help and the change and the benefit of the dream comes in, is by the questions it helps you to raise in life. So I'm going to be teaching you how to know the right questions to ask to really make the most of how your dream can help you. You will also receive a complimentary copy of my ebook, 20 Dream Themes and What They Mean. It's not even available for public release yet, so you will be the first to own it, and I would be happy to share that with you. You will also receive weekly recordings of all of the sessions. So the course that we do will be yours to keep forever. So if you want to refer back to it or continue your learning, that will be available for you forevermore. So the investment for the course is £115, which is about 160 euros or 179 American dollars. And you can sign up now by clicking the green button that you can see just underneath here that says click to reserve your spot on the Art of Dream Interpretation. I would love to have you on the course. So yeah, it's £115 or about 160 euros or $179, and it's a 5-week course. So we're going to be working every single week for 1 hour from the 23rd of September at 7 p.m. UK time. And as I said, if you're not able to make that, you will receive the recording as we go through the course. So you'll still receive the teachings, you'll still be able to interact with me and ask any questions that you would like to. So please do hit the green button, sign up. I would love to have you on the course, and I'll teach you everything that I know about dreams. It's going to be fabulous. Okay, so let's see what other dreams we've got. We've got time for one more here. Okay, so Manda has written, and again, Becca dreams about angels with multicolored hair and her nana. Okay, so multicolored hair is about having lots and lots of different talents. So Becca is somebody who is probably really good at dancing, singing, writing, caring. You know, she's got lots and lots of different talents to her bow, strings to her bow rather. So the angel in the dream is actually Becca. So she is the angel in the dream, and the multicolored hair represents the different ideas that she has for her future. So the multicolours is all the different things that she would be really, really good at. So you tell her from me, she's a very clever girl, and she's going to be very successful and do very well for herself, and to really be proud of all the different talents that she has. Okay, so also TLG is written back in now. I die in my dream. I know I'm going to, and I feel the process of death. Okay, so dreaming about dying is absolute rebirth. So you are in a life right now where you are going to go through lots of different chapters in your life. So you're not the sort of person who's going to toddle along just having the same life and living in the same town and doing the same thing for all, you know, for all infinity until you die. You're going to be somebody that undergoes radical transformation in life, really new chapters and fresh chapters starting, and, you know, huge lessons being learned through that as well. So this is also a dream about being sort of too hard on yourself. So when you're going through like a really big change in life, for example, a drastic career change, or a drastic change in your friendship circle, or a drastic change in who you want to be and the things that interest you, you might have a tendency to have a bit of a wobble and think, oh, you know, am I abandoning one aspect of myself here, or am I taking too many drastic leaps or steps? Just don't be so hard on you, okay? Do what feels natural. If one day you wake up and you think, I really want to move abroad, and it feels really real to you, and you know it's who you are, then you know, be authentic about that, because definitely this dream about dying is you as the caterpillar. So you're going into the cocoon and you're coming out as a butterfly, completely transformed into a new phase of your life. And as I said, I know that transformation for you has come through some quite difficult things at times. So, you know, be loving, be compassionate, be patient towards yourself, because it's you ultimately that's going to help you to get through it. Okay, good job. So that is the end, ladies and gentlemen, of the webinar on the art of dream interpretation. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. Please do email me, lauren@laurenrobertson.co.uk, if you have any questions. And I really hope to welcome you onto the Art of Dream Interpretation course, which begins on Wednesday, the 23rd of September. So thank you all so much for being with me today. I hope you found it informative and uplifting, and sweet dreams, everyone. Bye-bye.